Hi everyone, it's Miss Langrage. I am going to make a video tonight to show you an example of finding the area of a triangle when you're given 3 points in the coordinate plane. So the example that I'm going to show you tonight, I have graphed on Desmos. Here is Desmos right here. You can see it. I've got 3 points. I have the red point, the blue point, and the green point. The point -3, -9, the point -1, 6, and the point 3, 9. And we've talked about the first step is checking to see if it's a right angle triangle. Because if it's a right angle triangle, it's much easier to find the area. So we're going to check to see if we're lucky, see if this is a right angle triangle. I have found the slopes. I found the slope first between the red point and the blue point. Between the red point and the blue point, I have found that the slope is -15/2 between the red and the blue point. How is that possible? Between -9/6. Oh, sorry, plus. It's +15/2. The slope between these 2 points is +15/2. It's going up 15 and across 2. Let's check the next one. Oops. Zoom out. The next slope I'm going to find is between the blue and the green. And the slope between the blue and the green, if I do the slope calculation, is going to be 3/4, up 3 and across 4. And then lastly, I'm going to find the slope between the red and the green. And when I do that, I get that my slope is 18/3, 18/6, and that means the slope is 3 or 3/1. And we can see that 18/6 or 3 or 3/4 or 15/2, none of those are negative reciprocals of each other. So that means, unfortunately, this is not a right angle triangle, which means it's going to take more work to find the area of this triangle. So what I want to do is first I'm going to decide, I want between the red line, the red point and the green point, I'm going to say that's my base. You could pick anything else. You could pick between the red and the blue or between the blue and the green, but I've just decided I had choices and I chose between the red and the green is going to be my base. And so I'm going to show you that right here, that is the base I'm going to choose. And so what I need to do is I've chosen the base to go between -3 and -9 and 3 and 9, and I need to find the equation for my base because I know that when you want to find the area of a triangle, I need the base and I need the height. So I've found the slope. The slope is 3. And I know I want to find the equation of the base. So it's going to be y is equal to 3x plus b. I need to find that b. And I can pick either one of these 2 points to plug into the equation. I've chosen the ones with no negatives because negatives make things sometimes tricky. So I chose no negatives. So I have put the 3 here, the 9 here. I've done my algebra, and I get that my b is equal to 0. That means that my equation of the line is y is equal to 3x plus 0. This base right here is the line 3x plus 0, or just 3x. So I've got my base. But I know that I also need to have my height. And the interesting thing about the base and the height is that the base and the height are perpendicular to each other. So let's go back to my document over here. We want to find, oops. Now we want to find, oh, Miss Langrage, what did I do? I'm going back. Technical difficulty. Nope, that's not what I want. Can I go over here? Documents, recent. There we go. And we're loading. Okay, so now I want to find the equation of the line through the height. So remember that the height needs to be perpendicular to the base. So the slope needs to be the negative reciprocal of the slope for the base. Also, the height needs to go through that last point on the triangle. So far, we've used -3, -9, and 3, 9. We haven't used this -1, 6. So I want to find the equation for the line that is perpendicular to the green line, but also goes through this blue point, which is -1, 6. So I know that the slope of the base is 3, or 3/1. So that means the slope of the height, since it's perpendicular, needs to be -1/3. And we also need to use that last point, -1, 6. So I'm going to do some algebra. Y is equal to mx plus b. We know our m needs to be -1/3 because it's the negative reciprocal of the base, plus b. And I'm going to sub in -1, 6 into my equation. And I will get that my b is equal to 17/3. Now, there's a lot of algebra I did right here. And what I would love for you to do is I would love for you to pause the video so that you can check to make sure that when you do all this algebra, you also get that the base is equal to 17/3. Just don't forget that when you are subtracting fractions, you always need a common denominator. This isn't necessary for multiplying or dividing, but it is necessary for adding or subtracting. So push pause and try the algebra and see if you can get 17/3 for your b. Okay, now that you've tried it and hopefully you've gotten 17/3, let me show you what that looks like on my graph. So what I've done is I have enter that equation. I have, how does that work? That does not look perpendicular at all. Oh, it just doesn't look perpendicular because of the scale. It is perpendicular, for sure it's perpendicular. Let me just do one thing. Hold on, I want to show you it's perpendicular. -10 to 10, -10 to 10. This line is perpendicular to that line. For sure, it is perpendicular. The black and the blue, because one has slope 3/1, yes, those are perpendicular. So what we want to do is we want to find out, we want to find the equation of this black line. So I know that the black line has, oh, we've already done that. We have the equation here. What we want to do is we want to find out where they intersect. So I can see where they intersect because I've used Desmos, but we want to do it with algebra. So let me go back to my document. We have the equation of the height. What we want is we want to find out where the height and the base intersect. So again, I'm doing algebra, the equation for the height, the equation for the base. I want to find out when they are equal. I want to find the x value for when they're equal. So again, I've done a lot of algebra here. It hasn't taken me 2 seconds. It's taken me a few minutes. I would like you to press pause and see if you can get the same answer for x that I have gotten. And when you found x, I would like you then to find y, because it's an intersection point that has an x and a y. So I need to find both of those points. You can use either of the equations, but it's easier to pick the equation that is more simple. So I'm going to pick the equation that had no fractions. So I'm going to put the x into the equation, and I'm going to get my y is 51/10. And 51/10 is the same thing as 5.1. Again, please do the math yourself to check to make sure that you are getting the same answer. So far, we have the base equation. We have the height equation. We got the base equation by picking 2 points, finding the slope, picking one of the points, and making an equation using y is equal to mx plus b. We found the height equation by taking the negative reciprocal of the base, which is -1/3. And then we found the b by plugging in that last point, -1/6. So now what we want to do is we want to find the distance of the base. We want to find the distance from this point to this point, and we want to find the distance from this point to this point. So we are going to have to do we're going to have to use that distance formula that we learned last week. So we want to use this formula right here. And we have our base that goes between -3, -9, and 3, 9. If we plug those numbers into the distance formula, please don't trust me, do it yourself. You should get the distance is square root of 360. Press pause, try it yourself. And then we want to find the distance of the height. And the height goes between 1.75.1 and -1,6, goes between those two. We want to find this distance right here. We're going to use the same formula again. Here's my formula, and I get that distance is square root of 8.1. Last step, finally, we want to find the area using the area formula, which is base times height divided by 2. So I have the base times the height divided by 2. And when you do that calculation, you can find that the area of the triangle is 27 units squared. This area right here, if you were to draw this triangle right here, it has area 27 units squared. Okay, back to Ms. Langrage. So I know that's tricky. We want to keep practicing. The more you practice, the easier it will become. So go through this video a few times. Make sure you're doing the steps yourself and not just copying from the video. And then we will keep working on this in the next few classes.